The Cat on the Clocktower, a Maple Street Paranormal Misadventure. Chapter 3. The residents of Maple Street had survived the great juice box battle of last week, but something darker had settled over the town. Not literally, the weather was lovely. But metaphorically? Oh yeah, dark as a burnt Pop-Tart. It started when the town clock tower, built in 1872 and maintained exclusively with duct tape and hope, began chiming at 3:33 a.m. every night. Not on the hour, not even on purpose. And with each chime, people swore they could hear a whisper in the wind. Mabel Jenkins was the first to notice, mostly because her Victorian ghost detector, which was actually just an antique egg timer, started vibrating violently on her nightstand at 3:33 a.m., launching itself into a jar of pickled beets.
"It's a sign!"
she whispered, eyes wide.
"The clock, the cat, the countdown."
Countdown to what?
Greg had asked the next morning, stifling a yawn and holding a GoPro to his face.
"I don't know yet,"
Mabel admitted.
"but it's going to be weird."
Behind them, Cody was feeding bits of peanut butter crackers to a squirrel while humming a song that sounded suspiciously like Latin. That night, Greg staked out the clock tower with his usual gear. Night vision goggles from Amazon, a microphone duct taped to a selfie stick, and a backpack full of Doritos. At 3:33 a.m., the clock struck. But the third chime, unnatural, drawn out, and with a distinct feline purr, echoed through the fog. And then Greg saw her, perched at the very top of the tower, framed against the full moon like a goth Batman, was the black cat. Yellow eyes glowing, tail flicking slowly. Greg zoomed in, muttering,
I knew it. It's the Meowmancer.
He named things prematurely. It was a problem. Back at Mabel's house, Cody was drawing with crayons. Nothing unusual except for he was only using black. He was drawing perfect spirals over and over again. The spirals all had a cat's eye in the middle.
"Oh, good.
Mabel said, peeking in.
More symbolic vortexes of doom. How's snack time?"
Cody looked up.
Muffin says time is broken.
He replied. Mabel blinked.
"Who's Muffins?"
The kitty.
Cody said, as if this were painfully obvious. By morning, Greg, Mabel, and Cody convened at the diner to compare notes. Greg had grainy footage of the cat. Mabel had her vibrating ghost egg timer. Cody had a napkin he'd scribbled on with jelly spelling out. 3:33 is not a time,
Okay,
Greg said, chewing toast.
let's list the facts. The black cat is always present during weird events. The clock is chiming at the devil's half hour. And Cody's drawing black hole eyeballs.
"I also smelled burnt rubber and peaches last night."
Mabel added.
Relevant?
Greg asked.
"No, just putting it out there."
That night, they approached the clock tower together. Greg wore a tinfoil hat for resonance. Mabel had doused herself in peppermint oil and holy water, and Cody brought a juice pouch. They climbed the tower stairs as the chime neared. At 3:33 a.m., the bell tolled, then silence. The black cat was waiting at the top. It stared at them, calm, unmoving, timeless. Then it stood, stretched its back, and placed one paw on the bell. The chime rang backward. Time itself stuttered. Greg saw his breakfast uneat itself in a momentary vision. And then the cat vanished into thin air. Only Cody saw what was left behind, a single glowing spiral carved into the stone. The next morning, the clock tower was silent. No chimes, no cat, but the spiral remained. Greg posted a new episode of his podcast titled Time Cats and Clock Crimes. Mabel started cross-referencing ancient spiral cults with Pinterest sigils. Cody? He simply walked up to Mabel at breakfast and said,
Muffin says we're not from here.
then went back to eating his cereal.